Hey, what's up guys? It's Texmer talking to you here, and today let's talk about the Apple event that has just wrapped up, and I'm very excited. We got new products just like the iPad mini 6, the iPad 9, the new Apple Watch Series 7 and the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro. So before we get started on all these new Apple products, and I will recap them for you today, roll the intro. So let's start this recap video by the order of the Apple event. First, the Apple event started with the iPad 9. The iPad 9 was not a huge redesign. We still got a 10.2-inch display, but this display got better. This display now features True Tone, and it has, of course, a little bit better brightness, and it's a little bit better. I think that the design is still the same as last year's iPad, but it features now the A13, which is a boost from last year's A12. This means that the iPad 9 will feature an even better image processing to the rear camera, which is right now updated to have 12 megapixels, will take better pictures. So I'm very excited for people that want to buy the iPad 9 to get a better camera system and better quality, because last year's quality and the years before was pretty bad. So the front camera array has also been updated on the iPad 9. Now it features center stage, and this is a theme for the iPad lineup because now the iPad Air is the only one that doesn't feature center stage. This new iPad 9 to feature for center stage has now to have a 12 megapixel front camera, which is an ultra-wide camera, just like the iPad Pro. Now your Zoom meetings or FaceTime meetings will be amazingly good quality. That's good for Zoom and stuff, and I think that's very important. Then the iPad mini 6. The iPad mini 6 got a huge redesign. Now it features the iPad Pro 2018-like design, but even better. Because unlike the iPad Air 5 or 6, the newest one, the iPad mini 6 features a flash camera. And this is an amazing performance improvement, because last year's iPad Air, when the quality of the light was bad, you couldn't take video or good photography, and even when doing FaceTime calls it was bad. So now it is pretty cool. Then we got center stage on the front camera too. So we got the same ultra-wide 12 megapixel front rear camera that we got on the iPad 9. This enables center stage on all our iPads instead of the iPad Air. And this is a theme I want to share with you. I think that the iPad Air right now is not worth it, because the iPad mini 6 starts at $499 and the iPad Air 5 starts at $649. So it's not a good deal in tech. I think that it's too expensive for me. But the iPad 9 starts now at just $329, which is even cheaper than last year's $349. And if you are a school deal, you got at $299. This is very exciting to see that Apple is bringing down the prices of their entry-level iPads. The iPad mini 6 is an amazing buy. It has 5G. It has a liquid retina display. It has an 8.3 display, even better and bigger than last year. And the iPad mini 6 also features new redesigned buttons. To feature the Apple Pencil 2 Gen, so Apple has to move the buttons upwards. So now the buttons on the iPad mini are up top, where you can click them both. It's pretty nice. I think it features also Touch ID on the lock button, but the same as the iPad Air. The only differences between those two is that the volume buttons were moved upwards so that the Apple Pencil Gen 2 can fit on the side of the iPad mini 6, and also on the other side we have the 5G Ultra Band. So it's impressive to see that this iPad mini is almost like an iPhone. It's huge, 8.3 inches, and Apple demonstrated that you can fit it on new pockets. So you have new cases also for the iPad mini 6. So the iPad mini 6 got a huge redesign, and I'm very excited to see what can happen. You can pre-order it today and you'll get it at the end of the week, and I'm very excited to see what YouTubers will do about it, because I won't buy it. I don't have money for that. I'm still a small YouTuber, but MPHD and others will review it, and I'm very excited to see it. Then we got the Apple Watch Series 7. This was a very strange launch, because I was very surprised when I saw it for the first time, because we were supposed to get a squared off Apple Watch. Everyone was agreeing with that. Everyone was sharing leaks and renders, and very excited to get an Apple Watch that would be in line with Apple's new industrial design. But Apple surprised us with the same design from last year, which they said that is even rounder. So instead of going squared off, they went even rounder, which is pretty impressive and funny for leakers. They just pooped on their head. But this new Apple Watch, the biggest upgrade is the new screen. The new screen is huge, like pretty huge. You can see here, like, this looks like a render. It's just incredible how big the screen is and how small the bezels are. And I'm very excited to see it in person. I won't buy it. I mean, I maybe buy it because of the battery life of my Series 4 is pretty bad, but I don't know. Let's see in the long run. But the Apple Watch Series 7 is an amazing new design. I love that it's still round off. I like the round off design better, although the squared off is also, it looks good for me, but I think that the round off makes more sense. And the bigger screen enables so much new watch faces, it's just stupid. And then, of course, a bigger screen is always better. And now all the Series 4s look outdated. Also, they updated on the Apple Watch Series 7 the charging speed. So now it's 33% faster when charging, which is pretty good, because I want my Apple Watch to charge as fast as possible. Now it charges in 45 minutes, I think 80% of battery life, and 5 minutes or 8 minutes, it's good for 8 hours of sleeping. So it's good for sleep tracking things, and also charge your watch pretty fast. You don't want to be spending all like 2 or 3 hours just charging your Apple Watch. Also, is more resistant to dust. For the first time, is IPX6 rated, and of course, it's still 50 meters of waterproof. Then we got the iPhone 13s. Yes, it's called the iPhone 13s, and Apple has confirmed the name. The iPhone 13 is divided in two. We got the iPhone 13, 13 mini, which is the normal lineup, and the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, which is the Pro lineup. This year, there's no distinction between the Pro and Pro Max. But before we go into that, let's start with the iPhone 13 and 13 mini. These cameras on the iPhone 13 and 13 mini, I think that they are the highlight of this update. Although they are in a very different position now, it's confirmed that leakers were right about the position of the cameras. They feature bigger cameras, a bigger wide and a new ultra-wide camera, which features sensor shift stabilization. Now we got the sensor shift stabilization on all iPhones, not just the 12 Pro Max or the Pro Max variant. So these new cameras will take an even better camera shots, and of course with better light, which I think is 48% better light that the lens is taking, we got an amazing new photos. Also, the new macro photography cameras like the ultra wide now can do macro photography, which is pretty impressive and pretty cool. And of course, on the video side, we got cinematography video, which enables iPhones to do portrait video, by the way. By portrait video, Apple called it cinematography video, but it's portrait video. It now focuses on persons and on the backgrounds if they want, and it does it dynamically. Of course, it shoots on Dolby Vision, and you can update it on post. So if you want to change the focus on post, you can do it. This just enables by the A15 chip, which is the new chip present on the iPad mini 6 and on the iPhone 13. This chip is so powerful, you can change the focus after you recorded the video on post, which is pretty impressive. So you can now do cinematic video. And of course, I would like to have it because I would like to blur my background while I'm recording these videos and make it use and look like I'm using a professional camera, but I'm not, I'm using my iPhone. But that's not worth it for upgrading. Also, the smaller notch was confirmed by Apple, and they didn't name it notch, by the way. They just say that the camera array was smaller, so it could give you bigger display, but you almost don't notice, although it's pretty cool. And that's it for the iPhone 13s. But for the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, we got a small upgrade too. So people were saying that the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max would be a bigger upgrade this year, but I don't think so. The only differences between the upgrades that I talked about before and the upgrades that I will talk about now are ProMotion. The differences between the Pro lineup and the normal lineup this year are just ProMotion. Of course, they are bigger than last year's, but this year ProMotion was added to the iPhone. So the display will dynamically change the refresh rate through your user input. So for example, if you are scrolling from the ecosystem and your scrolls are fast, the refresh rate will be at 120, 110 Hertz. But if you are scrolling very slowly, the refresh rate will go down. This is what Apple calls the ProMotion technology, and it's pretty exciting to see that Apple uses this even more dynamically than other Android vendors, which just change, for example, if you are stopped, they change it to 10, and if you are scrolling, they change it always to 120. They do not change it like if you are scrolling slowly, you use 60 or 50. So this is pretty cool to see. So you now can watch your movies at 30 frames per second, 24 frames per second, or watch your silky smooth videos at 60 frames per second. This is pretty cool, and I'm very excited to see what happens. No always on display, unfortunately, and this is the iPhone 13 Pro. Also, let's talk about batteries. One of the biggest upgrades this year was battery life for all models. So the iPhone 13 mini got 1.5 more hours, and the iPhone 13 got 2.5 more hours. The iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max also got a big upgrade. The Pro model got 1.5 hours, just like the Mini, and the Pro Max got 2.5 hours, just like the normal iPhone. So this means that, Jesus, the iPhone 13 normal will have 1 hour more than the Pro model, and this is like Understandable, because you now have 120 Hz in one display with the same battery. So 120 Hz, even though it dynamically refresh rates, it spends a little bit more battery. Oh, and one more thing. The A15 chips between the two Pro iPhones and the two normal iPhones are different. This is the first time that this happens, and the 13 and 13 mini will have a 6-core CPU and a 4-core GPU, while the 13 Pro and Pro Max will have a 6-core CPU and a 5-core GPU. So it probably got better yields, and we got 5 cores, so Apple is binning their chips, just like they do on the M1. So this was Apple's event. What are you excited for? Are you getting the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, or the 13 and 13 mini? We got 5 new colors on the 13, which were a new red. Let's hope that the red is good. We got a new black. I think the black was removed, and now we got a very strange, they're not calling it black, but I think it's the same color than last year, because last year black was a little bit more to the blue side. And we also got a white model, and very excitedly we got a new color, which is pretty strange. I can't describe it for you right now. For the 13 Pro and Pro Max, we got the same colors in last year, gold, graphite and silver, but Pacific Blue was replaced by light blue. I'm calling it baby blue, but Apple gave it another name, which I'm not remembering right now, and I think it's pretty ugly, to be honest with you. I think that I much prefer my Pacific Blue iPhone 12 Pro, and both of them are worse than the midnight green that Apple had. But it's a different color. I think that we were expecting bronze, and we got this, so I'm disappointed. But okay, that's it. For me, it's an S-year promotion and bigger cameras, so I'm not upgrading, not at all. But are you upgrading? Or what products will you get from this Apple event? For me, the best product was iPad mini 6. I'm very excited to see what reviewers say about it. I still love my iPad Pro. It's my favorite device ever. But the Apple Watch Series 7 was also very interesting, and I want to see it in person. I will try to buy the iPhone 13 Pro Max to review. Let's see. It looks pretty boring. I want to try out the promotion. Let's see if I will do it and pull the trigger for you and compare it to the 12 Pro Max, but I think I will be disappointed. But I will try to get it next Friday. That's when the pre-orders will start for the iPhone, so let's see what happens. And what are you getting? The iPad mini 6, the iPad 9, the iPhone 13, or the iPhone 13 Pros? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It's very important to the channel to grow. We are growing much faster than I was expecting, and thank you for all your support. I love it. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. This was Texuma talking to you here. Bye.